You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Rumi. This, right here, right now, is a collective dream of the one mind, the non-dual consciousness that's dreaming itself to be 8 billion humans, trillions of animals, and however many beings on alien worlds and in all parallel dimensions and multiverses. This is why we are driven to treat each other with respect and kindness, because we recognize that we are the one being looking out of all eyes, and what we do to each other, we do to ourselves. But when we conceptualize ourselves to be separate, limited individuals, we overlook this fact and lean on philosophies and dogmas like physicalism and materialism to stipulate that we are separate consciousnesses born out of physical processes in the brain. And we create this narrative that we are mere meat sacks, ultimately destined for annihilation in this dead, dumb, and cruel universe. And it seems fanciful, like cuddly wishful thinking, to suggest that we are in fact one spirit dreaming, seamlessly interconnected underneath this hall of mirrors. But in fact, at the ultimate level, we are not interconnected, because we are not separate things to be connected. We are one single, indivisible whole expressing as the apparent many. So, in the truest sense, consciousness isn't in anybody. We've never opened up a brain to find consciousness inside. We will never find it in the neurons or even at the most subatomic level, because that would be like trying to find the movie screen in the movie. Quote, all things, when they are admitted, are made manifest by the light, for everything that is made manifest is light. Ephesians 5:13. And Neville Goddard's commentary on this passage from The Power of Awareness, quote, the light is consciousness. Consciousness is one, manifesting in legions of forms or levels of consciousness. There is no one that is not all that is, for consciousness, though expressed in an infinite series of levels, is not divisional. There is no real separation or gap in consciousness. This perspective aligns perfectly with the understanding that we are all expressions of the same singular consciousness viewed through different lenses of experience. You can't find consciousness inside anything because you're already looking at it. It's the substance by which everything is made out of and everything is known. There is nothing that could ever be experienced outside of consciousness. But this doesn't lead to solipsism. It doesn't lead to the belief that there is only my mind, my subjective experience, and nothing else. It's the recognition that we are the one mind, the one consciousness, expressing as all these apparent people. Quote, when I look inside and I see that I am nothing, that's wisdom. When I look outside and I see that I am everything, that is love. Between these two, my life turns. Nisargadatta Maharaj, I am that. So we are not people. The person is the character we play. It's the vehicle by which we navigate this simulation. It's an apparent localized perspective onto a dream we created. Why? In order to experience, learn, grow, evolve, to learn something about what love is, to know our true nature by contrast. But it's not mandated, it's not a necessity. However, it's available to each and every one of us if we so choose. We can sit in our armchairs spouting non-dual spiritual bypasses like, it's all purposeless and meaningless anyway, so why bother? But if we recognize the paradox of awakening, we see that by living under the assumption that we are infinite consciousness with imagining and manifesting power, we reveal that expression in the apparent 3D world. Quote, your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. Ramana Maharshi. As you go lucid in a dream, you recognize that you are not the individual dream character, but the consciousness appearing as that. You recognize that the dream character that you thought you were has no free will or control. It's only an expression of what you, as the consciousness, are imagining. And so You see through the illusion of free will to discover something deeper, freedom. By this point, you might be thinking, but aren't some things just preordained? Aren't some things just outside of our control? What about a kid in a war-torn country? How's he going to imagine his way out of that one? Some things are just destiny, right? Well, again, it's paradoxical. On the one hand, we have to concede that anything can happen. There appears to be some rules to this current simulation, this current game, this current dream. We drop an apple, we expect it to fall. And I don't think anyone's going to be flying into the sky anytime soon. But for the purposes of what we want to experience in our lives, consciousness, the universe, the absolute, can easily manifest what our human minds can dream up. It can do things our human mind can never understand. It's the infinite manifesting power. So we have to open to possibility too. If everyone in the world truly believed that we could fly right now, would it suddenly become possible? Well, that depends on how much you believe that imagination and belief affects external reality. But even if you are certain that we're bound by the laws of physics, you must at least concede that everything that we have that makes up modern day civilization was believed in until it was so. Every invention started in the human imagination, which is the imagination of God itself. So we are less watery meat sacks in a dead, dumb world full of microscopic ping pong balls or even probabilities, and more an apparently fragmented projection of a super intelligent consciousness temporarily limiting itself into human form. So, perhaps there are unbreakable rules or predestined series of events, whether unfortunate or fortunate, pre programmed from a higher level part of the one mind, hiding itself from itself, the consciousness manifesting this illusion of a world, space, and time. But we are still that one mind, just currently experiencing a particular part of the dream that we created for ourselves. And with all dreams, they all eventually end and change. Or we wake up, or we go lucid in the dream and we imagine another dream, another place, so intensely and so feelingly that we find ourselves manifesting it before our eyes. It's just in this world, this dream, things appear to move a little bit slower. We, as consciousness, wanted something more dense and real feeling. The dream world and the astral world can get a little bit abstract and disjointed sometimes. There's a discontinuity to it that makes the whole illusion fall apart quickly. Scenes and experiences can change rapidly, meaning we don't have as much time and information to learn as much from them, and therefore we don't evolve and experience as much. This apparent physical world, while still a dream, provides a more stable framework, a more continuous and sensical narrative, which consciousness can really dive deep into limitation, into forgetting and not knowing its true nature. It's the ultimate blank canvas upon which the most intricate, nuanced stories of love, loss, triumph, and despair can be painted in excruciating detail. It's here that we get to truly get absorbed in the game, in the drama, like an actor so fully committed to their role that they forget they're in a play at all. That's the level of immersion that consciousness can create here, complete and utter absorption in limitation and separation. Why? For the unparalleled richness and contrast of experience it provides, the intensity of emotion, sensation, and seeming consequences that arise in a realm seemingly ruled by time, space, and causality. It's exciting, enthralling even, for a boundless consciousness to feel bound. It's a limitation that allows it to experience itself by contrast. There's an exhilaration to it. In the same way that we might enjoy the highs and lows of a movie, in the way that it captivates us. But a movie is enjoyable precisely because we know it's a movie. And so, too, our real life becomes truly blissful, peaceful, and joyful when we awaken to the fact that we are the consciousness as which it's all arising, the consciousness that's dreaming it all into being. From that recognition, a great peace and freedom dawns. We experience the events of the world more lightly, no longer caught up in the movie of me. From the perspective of the eternal, all pervading consciousness, the tragedies and ecstasies of human life are seen as ripples on the surface of a vast, still ocean. And yet, those ripples are not dismissed as a mere insignificant illusion. They are honored as the master craftsman artistry of the one mind expressing itself in form. Just as a lucid dreamer delights in the fanciful figures populating their dreamscape, knowing that they are their own mind's manifest, so too does awakened consciousness rejoice in this world. It rejoices in its own creation. Every apparent individual is the self, playing at being another. There is no actual separation, only the appearance of it, only consciousness whispering into its own ear. And what could be sweeter than I love you? For that is the ultimate communication of this grand dance, consciousness romancing itself through the trials and tribulations, the sorrows and joys of human relating. It's all a dance, a flirtation, a cosmic game of hide and seek, leading always and only back to the remembrance of the love that birthed the universe and is the universe. Quote, lovers don't finally meet somewhere, they're in each other all along. Rumi. And so, in this revelation, we are finally free to watch and enjoy the show without being bound by it, to play our role with the same enthusiasm as any award-winning actor, while never forgetting our true nature as the awareness watching it all. It's the best of both worlds, completely engaged and completely free. This is the ultimate spiritual awakening available to all of us. To be fully human and fully divine simultaneously. To walk the razor's edge between form and formlessness, time and eternity, the absolute and the relative. It's a paradox, but then what isn't? The mind can't grasp it, but the heart knows it to be true. You are the one masquerading as the many. You are consciousness dreaming the cosmos into existence, and you can wake up to that fact immediately, right here, right now. There's no conditions. You are already awake. Peace.